Welcome back, everybody. It's your one and only crypto whisperer, Drew, back with some more tantalizing tales from the Wild West of finance. Now, today you're going to want to buckle up and sit tight because I have one heck of a story for you. Or maybe the word I'm looking for is diabolical. Oh well, in any case, let's get into it. What if I told you that we could be looking at the spark that is going to ignite one of the biggest bull runs that we have ever seen? You would say clickbait, right? Well, you would be dead wrong about this one, unfortunately, because this is all about the elephant in the room, or any other massive animal that you can think of, because these guys are a huge deal. That's right, today we're shining a light on the Godzilla of greed, the mammoth of money, none other than BlackRock. And unless you've set up shop under an actual rock this last month, you've no doubt heard that the juggernaut of asset management has decided to not just dip its pinky toe into our crypto pool, but belly flop right in like your weird uncle at a pool party. Now, for those of you that are still in the dark, BlackRock is not just another corporate boy band of private schoolers who like to get bailed out whenever they wet the bed. Although they have sure done their fair share of whoopsies, as we all have, it isn't the personal treasure chest of some lone corporate conqueror either. No, it's actually a melting pot of influential institutions who own substantial chunks of its shares. Giants like Vanguard Group, State Street Corp, and Temasek Holdings Private all sit around this financial roundtable. And let's not forget about our old pal, Bank of America. So, BlackRock is like the Justice League, or Injustice League, depending on your viewpoint on them, orchestrating the symphony of global finance from their ivory towers. To put it simply, these guys are the heavyweight champions of investment companies with pockets that go deep to the tune of $9 trillion. Now let that sink in for a moment. I said $9 trillion. To paint a pretty picture, that's more than the GDP of Japan, Germany, and the UK all combined, or roughly the amount that moon boys have lost on meme coins like Elon's butthole. But I digress. Before we get into why BlackRock could potentially incite the next cycle of bull run, that is if a bull run was to be put on steroids, HGH, testosterone, and crack all at the same time, make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe, boom, bang on that notification bell. Comment anything that you want in the relevant sections. I appreciate it. Now, let's see what BlackRock has in store for crypto and how that affects our pocketbooks in the near future. So first things first, how do they make so much money? Mostly through advisory and administrative fees. In fact, these fees brought in a staggering $4 billion in the last quarter of 2021 by itself, accounting for about 78% of their total revenue. Meanwhile, performance fees and tech services added another $329 million and $339 million respectively. They're also quite the high roller in the investment game, with 301 investments and 22 acquisitions under their belt to date, including powerhouses like Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Target, CNN, Fox News, and Pfizer. Lastly, they also own 8.1% of enterprise analytics platform MicroStrategy, which, if you know, drumroll please, holds over $4.6 billion worth of Bitcoin. Do the math on that. So whilst we don't know all the companies that pad their wallets, it's safe to say they've got hands in pockets everywhere. But why does any of this even matter? Well, my cheeky crypto connoisseurs, because the Titan of Tendies has filed for a Bitcoin spot exchange traded fund, or an ETF, with the SEC. This potentially monumental news comes during a super depressing time for the crypto sector, as it's faced overwhelming scrutiny after the US regulators pulled a very unsurprising move and sued the largest two exchanges in the industry, Binance.us and Coinbase, in case you've been asleep, and also labeled over 60 altcoins as unlicensed securities. Not to mention the choppy wake of that wiry-haired muggle, Sam Bankman-Fried, we're all still riding. And I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all agree, that dude sucks. Anyway, for those who don't know what an ETF is, it's a pooled investment security that holds multiple underlying assets and basically acts as a first-class ticket for institutional investors, allowing them to ride the Bitcoin roller coaster without getting their hands dirty with pesky regulatory risks. This is huge because if approved, BlackRock's ETF would serve to throw open the floodgates, allowing trillions of dollars in institutional funds to roll into the crypto market. And that could start one of the biggest bull runs we have ever seen. But okay, before we go too deep down that rabbit hole, let's back up and cast an eye over BlackRock itself, namely who exactly they are and why they matter. Now, these guys aren't just your run-of-the-mill Wall Street firm. They've got their fingers in every financial pie that you could possibly imagine, from sovereign wealth funds to your grandma's pension. They manage their galactic asset pool through platforms like Aladdin, which is in turn used by business behemoths like Microsoft and Wells Fargo. So it's safe safe to say these guys aren't effing around. So how did they get to the lofty position where their input could finally drag our shivering asses out of the crypto winter that we've been suffering from since the frosty back end of 2021? Well, the company was founded during the Stone Age of Finance, 1988, by Robert S. Capito and Larry Fink. And back then, they only had a measly $165 billion in assets under management.
You're broke! You're poor!
Now, over 3 decades, these warlocks of Wall Street turned that chump change into $9 trillion, the beast that it is today. If that doesn't sound like the rags to riches story you were hoping for, it's because it isn't. In the traditional sector that favors the elite, wealth creates wealth, and this lot was dripping in it from the start. But we should still be shaking their clammy hands because they nevertheless could be exactly what the industry needed to stop the brutal dominoes that started falling ever since Terra Luna fumbled the proverbial bag back in 2022. Now, you might think BlackRock's flirtation with crypto is a recent fling, but you would actually be wrong. They've been playing footsie with Bitcoin for years, shifting from outright skepticism to grudging acceptance, then to a shrug emoji, and now they have landed on the let's buy the living hell out of it strategy. Investments in crypto mining companies, hefty stakes in MicroStrategy, a company bloated with Bitcoin, you name it, they've done it. And that's just the stuff you know about. Still, if you want yet more sprinkles on this tasty backstory Sunday, they've launched an ETF that tracks blockchain companies, pumped money into the big boy Circle, the firm behind the USD stablecoin, partnered with Coinbase, and created a private Bitcoin trust for their private clients. Oh, and just one other tiny little thing. BlackRock already has over 1,300 ETFs globally, with 404 of them traded in the United States markets. So these guys are absolute specialists in getting them approved and regulated, which is why the entire industry has parked up their Lambos and are now waiting with bated breath. Now, the potential fly in the ointment here is that the SEC has denied every other spot Bitcoin ETF request they've ever received. That said, they've never gotten one from BlackRock until now, and everyone is expecting them to fold like origami at that request because, well, let's not go there, but I'm sure you can make up your own minds why that would happen. But for BlackRock, entering the crypto market will allow them to dominate and make more money than God himself. But the bad-ish news for now is that BlackRock and Fidelity suffered these same fates with the earlier ETFs that were filed, with one caveat. They weren't actually denied. The SEC came back and said, you know what, you didn't designate exactly what you were doing in here. We need you to elaborate on a couple things and refile. So let's hope that that goes well. But here's the key thing. If they make money, so does everyone else. So what exactly has made BlackRock so hot and heavy for crypto that they've stepped out of the shadows and are now dancing on center stage? Is it just Bitcoin they're after? Well, not exactly. It seems they're more smitten by the concept of asset tokenization, which I completely understand because we are a little smitten by that ourselves over at Wolfer Finance and PreSend. Wolfer Finance is a blockchain infrastructure company that owns and houses and runs masternodes and validator nodes for some of the largest blockchains in the space. Ethereum, Flux, FTM, AVAX. You've definitely heard of them. And we have a potential mining arm coming out in the very near future. We have opened up what is called a regulation crowdfunding offering, which will give all of our investors a digital security, and they will have the legal ability to have dividends distributed to them through that security token housed directly in their crypto wallet on Polygon blockchain, and we can pay out in crypto, as well as people being able to invest in crypto with none other than Circle's USDC on either Polygon or Ethereum's chain. And one of the coolest parts about Wolfer Finance is that it owns a 10% equity position in PreSend, which is a revolutionary wallet transaction security software that stops cross-chain transactions from happening. Think about when you send USDC on Polygon to an Ethereum wallet, you potentially just lost your money. Or when you send BNB to Coinbase Exchange, you definitely just lost your money. Who do you think is going to be some of the people in the markets that are going to want to utilize and license this patent-pending revolutionary technology? All of the major wallets like Ledger, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, all of the major browsers like Brave and Opera, all of the major exchanges like Coinbase, KuCoin, Kraken, Binance, and definitely large players like BlackRock and Fidelity that want to make sure that their funds transfers are going to be safe. So if that sparks an interest for you, make sure that you follow the channel and pay attention for when these regulated offerings come to market in the next few weeks. Now, asset tokenization is where physical assets get digital security counterparts, tokenized and traded on the blockchain. Companies such as DeFi CA, Wolfer Finance, PreSend are already going to do this. as are many others. In essence, BlackRock is priming a course where traditional finance and digital assets get blended together, creating a world where you can trade tokenized stocks and bonds on the blockchain. A world where crypto payments are as common as buying your morning coffee. A world where BlackRock can pat themselves on their sweaty backs as the company that turned it all around. Now, we all know that we would have made it anyway, right? Crypto and DeFi are here to stay, and ultimately, we would have gotten past the turmoil and back into the good. Crypto is cyclical after all. So the main question is what BlackRock wants to do a good thing? If BlackRock's application gets the thumbs up, we are looking at a tsunami of institutional money into Bitcoin and every other crypto. And when that happens, it's absolute moon time, baby. And like for real moon time. Not just because some dude on Telegram with a fake profile picture and name told you so. Of course, only time will tell exactly what happens, but remember, you heard it here first, folks. The next and potentially biggest bull run is well in sight. And I can't believe I'm saying this, a traditional asset management fund could be the one that caused it. Anyway, this is Drew, your Crypto Compass, signing off until next time. Keep holding, folks, and remember, in the wide world of crypto, fortune favors the brave, not the stupid, and not Matt Damon.